Fern. It used to be Fernando, but it's a girl, so we're just naming her Fern.
How do you know it's a girl?
Because it's small. Whereas that one's a boy, and he's humongous. Oh, he just beat. That one is definitely a male. You could see the huge size difference between him and Churro.
Last week you did the inside of the greenhouse. So what's going on out in the garden? It's November 1st.
My favorite tree for fall are maple trees. I was just talking about how I enjoyed the red, the burgundies, they're brilliant, scarlet, they're orange, and they're yellow foliage. And really there's not too many other trees that turn such a range of colors. So this tree we planted 2 years ago only, and it's this big. And it kind of has this weird, interesting habit of starting this burgundy color from the inside out. So the outer leaves are going to be the last leaves to change color. But it seems to have this black spot problem. I think it might be a fungal disease. This is the second year I've seen. It doesn't kill the tree or anything, but it does look ugly because I can see the black spots on the foliage. So here's I'm suspecting that it is some sort of a fungal disease because it's very wet. Our backyard is very wet. But maple trees are, the trees, I planted this tree knowing that they can take the wet. Over here is a bed that we just weeded and expanded a little bit. And it has a lot of annuals and perennials that I grew last winter in the greenhouse. And these delphiniums, these are not like those gigantic ones that you see on garden shows. These are more of a delicate type. They self-seeded and they're just gorgeous. I'm having a second round of flowers from these blue delphiniums. I don't even know how these came here. I don't remember
those bees.
Sowing these seeds, but these are those what are they, paper flowers, or I forget the name of those, but they feel kind of like dried flowers, but that's just how they are. So I got some pink ones and some orange ones growing in here. These Dusty Miller, I started them from seed last winter in the greenhouse, and these are looking sad because we moved them. And then we just put the same in the pot there, along with some coleus. There was some coleus in here, but I think that they're done. There was some zinnia in here, but I removed them because they were all done for the year. And so this, I was hoping we'd get some sort of display. And this is kind of like this grass in the middle. I forgot what the name of it, but it's like a pink-red grass. And I wanted it to grow really big, but it was just like a little baby plug. So this is as big as it got this year. But I think it does come back year after year. So maybe next year it'll be a little bit bigger. And there's some other things in here like euphorbia. And I think these flower. So there's 2 different types of euphorbia in this bed. And they can get quite big, so we'll see how big they get next year.
It's going to survive over the winter, though?
Yep, I think they do. They're perennials. I don't do a lot of annuals, but what I discovered is a lot of annuals self-seed, and so in some ways they're almost like perennials because their seeds will scatter and then they'll come back the next year without me doing anything. I love this arch. I've discovered that arches do incredible things for squash and pumpkins. It affects how they grow. We got these long tromboncino squashes growing on this arbor, and if it wasn't on this arbor, I don't think we would have gotten the length because they droop down and gravity just like pulled them down. We wouldn't have gotten those long squashes if it wasn't for this deer fence arch. We have 4 razzmatazz grapes, and we do have grapes on on here. A lot of them actually, but once again, this year they would kind of die down to maybe just a couple inches off the ground, the vine, and then they would spend most of their time growing their leaves and vines, and by the time they got the grapes, it was the end of the growing season. So this is the second year. This is the most grapes I've ever seen on these two older razzmatazz grapes, and we got 2 replacements in this year. It took a long time for this grapevine to wake up. It's good to see that they're growing, and we'll see if they actually become more productive next year. Over here is a purple passion fruit vine that I started from seed. And it takes a long time for passion fruit to grow from seed in a little pot. So you have to be very patient, but they will grow. And I started to get the passion fruit flowers starting. You could see here, over here, if you come over here, Daddy, you can see the flower buds now growing. But you know what? It's November, what is it, November 1st now?
Yeah.
So it's, once again, we're into the frost, season for frost. I think it's too late for them to produce fruit. So the best thing that I can do is maybe in the next week or 2, we'll see. If it gets like frosted over really bad, what I'll do is I'll dig up the 2 plants on either side, and I'll save them for next year.
Oh, they're not going to survive the winter?
And I don't think they're going to survive the
You don't
winter.
want to just throw some hay and...
I could, but I don't know. Do we want to take that risk?
So you want to put it in a pot and then put it in the greenhouse?
Stick it in the greenhouse, or maybe the simplest thing would be to mulch it with a lot of grass or something. Our last razzmatazz grape looked like this for a while, but then it came back to life. So never count them out. Okay. We also have a clematis here that barely did anything. It's not dead. Look, it's alive, but it's the end of the growing season. So hopefully next year, it'll get enough energy in its roots to cover this with beautiful purple, pink flowers. I wanted more lettuce for our poultry and our ducks and to eat. So what I did was...
We don't have poultry.
I grew... Yeah.
Poultry is chicken.
Just chicken. I mean waterfowl then. But then what about turkey? That's poultry.
Oh, we have poultry.
Yeah, poultry. So I try to create a design. I put chard in the middle, then I put that dinosaur kale on the outside of that, and then I put a ring of this red romaine, but it's more like a speckled red romaine lettuce, which is growing like gangbusters, and then this kind of tight, ruffly oak leaf lettuce on the very outside to create some sort of a design. Maybe when the lettuces grow a little fuller, you can see some sort of a design to it. But I try to be a little creative, but right here is a pêche de vigne, which is a red-fleshed peach. Supposedly, I got the seeds from Romania. A lady in Romania sold them to me, and one peach tree grew out of the seed. So I look forward to raising this and seeing what this is all about. So this is an experiment right here. On the other side, I have something very, very similar, but instead of rainbow chard, I have beets. I have long cylindrical red beets growing. Then I had some red cabbage, then the dinosaur kale, and then I have the speckled red romaine, and then finally I didn't have a lot, so I think more on this side. I did red romaine on this side, and I did the oak leaf lettuce on this side. This is wild strawberries that I grew from seed, and here's a nice little one right here. And they're really much tastier when you let them get really red. But Took forever though, but it grew from seed and it's doing really well in a pot. We harvested about, I would say about half the persimmons, would you say?
Yeah, there's
Today.
still more.
And I have to say this has been the star of our fruit tree garden. I think even more so, maybe, would you say, than the Asian pears? What do you think? Equal to?
Yeah, I mean,
Or-
the Asian pears haven't gotten in size yet, so
But
they'll catch up.
yeah, we haven't really pruned this tree, so it's, you know, gone kind of crazy. But last year we had a harvest of almost 200 pieces of fruit come off this tree. This year, I think
It's
we
about the
have
same.
just about the same,
Or more.
or maybe a little bit more. But these are fuyu type persimmons. They can be eaten while they're hard and crispy like this, or you can wait for them to kind of get older and mellow and mushy and eat them with a spoon when they have like more of a jelly-like consistency, which I like because I feel like they have actually more flavor at that point. So this, if you have a backyard that gets a lot of flooding or it rains, persimmons don't care. They love it. So persimmons will do well. And we've really enjoyed having the persimmon fruits, especially my mother. Had some Johnny jump up pansies that I grew in here, and they self-seeded. So I have a lot of little
Hey, this thing got chipped.
Johnny. Oh, how did that happen? Maybe I should put this out in the light. But this is called a cashmere perfume plant, I think, and it's supposed to have incredible flowers. It's called, some people call it the Mexican hydrangea. And the thing about this plant is it can be invasive, so I put it in a pot. But the perfume of its flowers, it has clusters of white flowers, is supposed to be unbelievable. But once again, we are at the end of the season and it begins to flower. So it comes from a warmer climate area. So I will be putting it inside the greenhouse soon. So our cherry, so now we're coming upon our raised vegetable beds. And all these raised beds were purchased from Temu. Not that I am being paid by Temu, but Temu, you are perfectly allowed to sponsor me. But all our raised beds are from Temu. They were pretty easy to put up. And, you know, we were able to get started on raised beds very, very quickly because of these corrugated metal beds. So I also supplemented with these very large plastic half-barrel size pots from Tractor Supply. Why did I use these? Because these are the plants that hog all the space in our raised planter beds. If you plant them, you won't have very much room for anything else. So I did this other little area here that's fenced off because ducks do nibble on plants. Some of the cherry tomatoes are still though going strong, and they are starting to still turn a little bit more red. So we keep, we're just going to grow until the very last minute because our ducks love cherry tomatoes. That is like candy to our ducks. They live for cherry tomatoes. So this is what I'm saying. Here's a bell pepper plant. I didn't do anything fancy. I just took the seeds off of grocery store bell peppers. I did not buy bell pepper seeds, and lo and behold, I had the best crop. They were pumping out bell peppers like crazy this year, my plants, that I have ever had, because in the past, if I try to grow a bell pepper, I might have gotten 2 or 3 little tiny bell peppers. I have this thuggish cutting celery plant. It has skinnier stalks and more like bigger leaves that you could use like in place of parsley. This is a plant that I actually removed half of it, and it still grows like gangbusters and crowds out my kale. But I have kale here. I have Japanese red mustard greens growing there. Over here, I have my hay from my, dirty hay from my duck house here, providing a little bit of insulation for the rocket. I have a late season crop of rocket growing here. I have my scallions, and scallions do survive through the winter, and they will come back. Those are bunching onions or scallions. Here I have broccoli. So those I'm just hoping will just last until next spring. This is my most prolific bell pepper plant. I cannot tell you how many bell peppers I've gotten off this plant. Over here is next year's garlic. So I have some elephant garlic growing and some large little pieces of garlic from just the grocery store garlic. I'm doing an experiment and I just planted grocery store garlic here too. Just maybe about 6 or 7 plants. I have some spinach growing here. I have some red Russian kale. And it's okay. Maybe it's a little overcrowded. I don't know. The plants are a little spindly. Maybe I need to give them more room. I'm not that impressed with this, but we eat some of it and it's fine. Over here I have these little round, short, chubby carrots. Some of it kind of came up, and in other places it didn't come up, so I just sprinkled the rest of the packet, and now I see some more of them coming up. This might overwinter and just become a harvestable, if that's a word, crop for the following spring. It might not do too much this fall because we're running out of time. So a lot of this stuff we can just harvest in the spring and it'll just carry over into spring.